fucking with me for the whole 10, right?
It's been
Out of 10? Yeah, it's
been a while, because before it was just like, oh, come on here and talk about XYZ. Then it came in like, I was like, oh, sit on in this chair.
Yeah.
Host the show. Do that. I'm like,
come
okay.
on in the room. And then we have our added Nick the voice. She gonna keep us, she gonna keep us informed. That's what she gonna do. She gonna keep us informed. Word on the street, what's going on. Nick is the one that's gonna keep it 100. But you are right, Roogle. It has been a long time. You're right. Come on in the room. All right, come on in the room. Yeah, that was down on 1500.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1500 down there with the big window. I missed that big window. That big window was everything. And you know why, right?
Because you see them passerbyers.
You can do a whole show on the passerbyers. Like
passerbyers.
The passerbyers, man, they used to be going to work. And I'm like, well, where they going to the club? The club opened this early? They was going to work.
They must have been going to
club.
The one call center down there.
Yep. And that's why I was like, club. And I called it what it was because, listen, they had
it seemed like all call centers is like that. You be having.
Is it? Okay, now wait a minute. Let's get visuals. Hold on, Nick. We got to give a visual to our listening audience because we radio. And we love this virtual thing, but we radio. So if you don't know, and you said it seemed like all call centers. Now they tell you to dress up, and I'm gonna ask you because I know you know. They had on like 6-inch heels, mini dresses, and I knew some of them had different color hair. Now the different color hair, and I guess what I did, I'm gonna do my research. I wanted to see their dress policy because I was calling it Club ABC. That's what I call. I said, oh, wait a minute, because I could not understand for real. I was like, where are they going? Like, what the heck? And I'm thinking it's from, I'm on Saturday morning, been on Saturday morning from day one. I'm thinking of Friday night, I go down to the studio. I'm at the station and I see all kind of beer cans and cigarette, all the residue from the party last night, so I walk on through. It's early in the morning, get all prepared. And then I see these people walking through and they got their little stilettos and beautiful blouses, though. I ain't gonna lie, the shirts was cool, but they did show a lot of cleavage. And they had like mini skirts, but I was like, what the heck? But it was some that had like blue hair and orange hair. Now listen, that was back, Roogle, what was that, 2011?
Maybe.
12? Okay, so that really, now it's like real popular. So I went and got a copy of their dress policy. And the particular call center was in the same building as the station. So I went up there. I said, can I see your dress policy? And the lady looked at me. She was like, you want our dress policy? She's like, do you work here? I said, no, I'm just curious. So one guy was behind her. He started laughing. He's like, I know who she is. You can have it. So I read it. And what was different, they said professional. It's professional dress.
They all say professional or business attire, but these heifers be
wait, Nick. So I'm reading it. What caught my eye was they put in their dress policy, natural color hair. That's how they did it. Yes, it's in there. Natural color hair. So I said, I wonder what that means. Natural color hair, like no blue hair, no purple hair, no extra color hair. That's what it was. So I read it on, I read it on the air and I was like, And I was wondering, maybe they don't know what professional attire is. Now you said you worked in call centers, right?
Yes.
Now you said that it seems like that's that way in all call centers. Elaborate.
These heifers be looking for husbands or something. They are because they really. It's like that's professional. That's business. No, you look like a stank heifer that need to be on a pole swinging somewhere. This is not a strip club. This is
that's the attire.
It's like, but that's every call center I've ever worked at. You've had some that come in here looking like that, and you be like, Child, ain't nobody gonna see your ugly behind but us. Why you need to come on now? For real? Ain't no strip pole in the middle of the floor or nothing. The customers can't see you. You on the phone talking to somebody, and then half of y'all is ghetto as I don't know what when you're talking.
Now, is there a script to be read?
Some places they do have a script, some places don't. I like the ones that have a script until they want you to sell something. Yeah. Because it's easy, because then you don't be stumbling and fumbling and everything, because you know I have a habit of doing that. But I like the scripts versus not having a script, some call centers, but it depends on what they're selling or what they're doing or whatever. But yeah, it's like you see a little bit of everything. Then you see the grungy ones come in there and you be sitting there like, how did you even get a job looking like that?
Now, the this one call center, because you already know I'm a foodie. I'm picky, but I'm a foodie. So I'm sitting down, and I guess it was lunchtime. The call center had bed bugs. And they said that they are not responsible if they come, you know, if you get them and you take them to the house, they're not responsible, but they want you to come to work. I said, well, that's a health hazard. But that's just me sitting there eating my little gyro, euro to some, you know what I mean? And I was just really outdone that people were still working and they knew that the place had bed bugs. Like, I'm not trying to take that home. I came for a check. You know what I mean? I ain't come for no bed bugs. I ain't come for no little itchies. Go ahead.
I had a job like that, but it was in healthcare. I was working at a particular house, men's house, and they had a bed bug outbreak. And I, you know, but we got it, but it was the one per guy that every time he would go home, he would bring it back. Y'all got to put me in another house or I quit. I'm not taking that. Listen, when they but they didn't tell me until half of the night was over with. And I went home. I took clothes off.
But wait, and see, you were at a particular house, but it seems like those, and I call them, you know, they're adults because they're young adults. They actually accepted it, and they went to work, but they're young. Now you bring it back, you get your house exterminated. That's probably, I don't know, like $3,000. I don't know, because I know if you get it in one room, it's all over the place.
It's all over the place.
Outbreak, just like you said. But if you coming for a check, and now I got to spend my check to have my house exterminated, and if they got a mother like me and they at the house, oh, we're not doing that. You quit.
I'll quit first.
Go ahead.
And file unemployment.
You making the assumption that the people coming to work didn't bring them in.
That's what that's what one of the managers said. One of the managers said it came from outside in.
I mean, you know, stuff like that. It's just like, even like when you have like stuff like that happens like in a school, in a classroom or something like that. It's not the building doesn't have those kind of things just in it. You know what I mean? Because no one's sleeping in there. It doesn't have that type of furniture in it and all that other stuff. You know, that stuff that's being brought in from the outside.
They had signs. They had signs posted. But you're absolutely right. Those are things that's brought from the outside. So should the company be responsible? Yes or no? Roogle, go ahead.
Once it's in their facility, they have to do something. You know what I mean? Once it's in a facility, they know about it, they got to do something. But I think, though, the other thing is, too, if I work there and I know that's the situation, well, I'm coming in, whatever I wear, I'm changing before I even leave the building. You know what I mean? I'm not even wearing it to my car.
Okay, go ahead, Nick. Look at Nick sitting there. What's your thoughts? And it was posted because I saw it. They did like,
how unemployment compensation insurance, health hazard. I quit because.
But how can you?
Somebody brought bed bugs and I ain't taking them home. I need my money until they get that situated.
Okay, now here's
person is tell them they can't come back to work until they get their problem.
But see, here's the thing. Working in the community, I can say there's no way to pinpoint who brought it in. Just like Roogle said, how do you know that somebody did not bring it in? Now, if you see a little bed bug, crawl out of somebody's bag, then you can look and you can be like, okay, I'm not doing that.
Well, the first thing you do, if you're that business, you eliminate that stuff. You be like, okay, nobody bring bags to work, right?
Right.
Like, what do you need? What do you need a bag for? All you need to bring is your ID and maybe some loose change or whatever you got to bring. You ain't got to bring in a big ass suitcase, purse, or none of that stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, for real.
Or looking at people's
arms and legs. I feel attacked.
I'm just saying. I mean, like, why you got to bring that?
I always have a big purse.
I mean, for real. Like, okay, like I used to supervise people who did home visits, and sometimes homes they went into, they weren't the best, right? And so we were like, okay, what do you need to do? So we were like, well, one precaution is that here go these stools that you can sit on. Don't, if you have to interact with somebody on a rug or whatever, don't sit on that rug, sit in this stool. If you got it, what I mean? So like there were certain
BYOC.
Huh?
BYOC, bring your own chair.
Well, yeah.
So they got the board. I'm like, you need to see. I got it.
I mean, you ain't gotta. I mean, okay. I'm gonna try to see if I can show you something. I don't know if the audience will be able to see it. See this? See that?
Okay, so carry that with you. Okay. Yeah. So the job will provide a stool. Yes, we can see it. You're about to make us dizzy. Don't do that because somebody might be watching and listeners be fine watching who has a seizure disorder, and that'll start it. That'll trigger it.
I start like my Jedi Knight stuff.
I got you.
But I think like, I mean, that's one thing. But the other thing was too, we told people like, hey, you may want to bring a second pair of clothes. You know what I mean? And we even did too. I told my folks, we had a washer and dryer. I was like, if you want to, go and wash it, go dry it, go whatever, do whatever you want to do to it.
Now, you know what though? You will really have to pay me big because that's just so much work. I don't want to do it, but even though
I think the thing is that you know which place may have the particular problem, right?
Okay.
So it's just one of those safety nets that you take. Like we even said, here's a piece of plastic to put on your car seat if you just want to just get in your car and then go. You know what I mean?
I know the work that you used to do and manage. So is it okay to meet someone like in public, like say like a local McDonald's or something like that?
You can, but it's always the last option, right? And the reason it's the last option is because if I'm at the local Burger King or whatever place you want to meet at, I don't know who's going to come in there, and this is a personal, intimate
violation
about your needs and stuff like that, right? So we meet people at their jobs sometimes and things like that, but you have to really look at that based off of how you've been working with the person. So if I've been working with the person and all it is, hey, how you doing with school and blah, 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 this and that. And it's like stuff that's like achievement oriented. Well, I guess everything is achievement, but you know what I'm saying? Like middle class achievement, like, oh, I'm in school, I'm doing this kind of stuff. Those kind of things people don't really have a problem with if someone overhears that. But if I'm going there talking about yo bug infestation, you know what I mean, at the little Subway place in the Walmart, with all your coworkers, nobody want to hear that, so you gotta pick and choose who you have those kind of conversations with. But also, the worst thing was the thing that kind of the thing that would cause some difficulty with that was based off of like what season it was. So, we get some harsh winters and stuff like that. We would sometimes have it in the office and things of that nature, if it was a true problem.
Okay, let's role play. You're the boss. Nick works for you, and she pulls
Go to work.
She pulls up to the client's house and she sees a Confederate flag. Go ahead, Nick.
I'm going in there. You buck if you want to.
You going? Okay.
I'm going.
You going
if you want to though.
Now so you're gonna go. Okay, so if she was the person that decided, I don't feel safe, here's the Confederate flag. I'm a Black woman.
Yeah.
I call you on the phone and I'm like, hey, listen, Mr. Roogle, I don't feel comfortable going in. It's a whole family of cotton here with a Confederate flag. Roogle, why you looking like that?
A whole family of cotton. Well, the first thing is like this. You have if you on my team, we got a documented record that that's where you're going before you even go.
But you don't know that they got all this stuff.
Well, hold on, I ain't done yet. You know,
okay. All right.
So I got a documented calendar of that you share with me of where you going and when you know for that particular thing, right? So I know you going to that place. So so this is the option, right? The option that first of all you gotta look at it like this. This family invited you to their home, right? So they knew who she was because she's been working with them. They invited her to her home.
This is her first time going. Go ahead.
This would be her first time going. So the thing is, I can say like this. You know what? First scenario, how comfortable do you feel? If not, I'm coming out there with you. You know, if it's not if it's anything less than 100%, I'm like, okay, I'll be there. Give me the address. I'm on my way. We'll go in together, right? You know, because I've had this experience just recently, a few times actually, where there's these new Confederate flags that are like American flags that blend into a Confederate flag, right? And I went and knocked at the door, and the lady just looked at me crazy, like her jaw hit the ground, and she was looking like, did you not see the flag? You know what I mean? Which was odd because it's like the first thing they say, oh, it ain't about hate, it's about my heritage. You know, my heritage, you know, it's about that, you know what I mean? And you're like, well, if it's not about hate and it's not about that, why are you looking at me crazy? You know what I mean? You didn't, you know, so that would be the first thing. Cause I had a conversation with a couple people who actually had flags and it was kind of weird because I'm like, why you got a flag, but you technically in the state that was never really in the Confederacy. Like, what's that about?
Funny.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can you explain to me the lineage that gets you, that makes you feel like this is a proper symbol of your whatever, you know what I mean? And like most times it can't. You know, they ain't talking about, well, my great-great-grandfather was such and such this or whatever, you know, none of that kind of stuff, right? Is this some brainwashing? You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just gonna say it like that. Like you oh, it ain't a symbol of hate, but you can't tell me what it's a symbol of. Either you lying or you don't want to tell me the truth. You know,
it's in Georgia, and it didn't matter what color you was. You had every color because they lived in the South. You had black, you had white, you had Chinese, Puerto Rican, whatever. Some of them did have, you know, on their cars or whatever, because it's not really a symbol of hate, but it's because the South, like the Mason-Dixon line, you were, you know, south of the Mason-Dixon line, that was the Confederate States. And because they born and raised there, that was just, you know, no, we know what it means, but a lot of them, they just, because they lived in the South, that was, you know, but yeah. Here, either way, I'm pulling up, I see that, I'm going in. Like I said, nuck if you buck, nuck if you buck, put it that way. I'm going in because that's my job.
Is she saying she's going in or she ain't going in?
She said she's going in, nuck if you buck, so she ready to fight, but she don't understand. Here's the thing though, when you go into someone's house, you don't know what they have.
What they have,
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. If I don't feel comfortable, kind of like what you said, Roogle, you go there and you knock on the door, the lady look like you ain't see that Confederate flag, and it's supposed to not mean hate, but it's like, we don't like you. To me, I said it before and I'll say it again. With the president that we currently have, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with him, and he needed to be there so that they could take their hoods off. And that's just my thoughts. So now the people that you may have thought, you know, you were side-eyeing, you don't have to, because he made it okay. He made them comfortable enough to say, guess what? I am a racist, and I'm telling you that I am a racist, and this is it. So if I know that there's danger, I'm not going that way. You know what I mean?
The funny thing about that now is there are people that we grew up with, we're cool with, you know, I know back at home anyway, grew up with, cool with, I mean, the whole nine, that now we are actually really seeing their true colors these last 4 years.
Yeah, like, you know, they hard, and they concealed it. And they concealed it. That's why I said that's why I said what I said. I'm like, oh, this is good. And then people that, you know, back, and we've all experienced it, where they be like, there's no racist. You can see who's racist and who's not. And they'll deny and say they're not racist, but there's some black people that are racist as well. Reverse racism.
I don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
I got a cousin that'll tell you she racist.
You gotta have the power to be racist. Racism is having the power over a system.
My cousin that's okay. Racist.
You can have your okay. So he said power. He said power over the system is to be racist. There are people that I feel is reverse race. You know, there's that reverse racism, because you have some white people who don't, some cottons who don't want their children to date black people. They don't want that interracial. But you also have some black people who don't want their children to date white people.
Right.
So who's right or who's wrong? Or is that just preference? Because some people use it as racism, or is that just personal preferences?
I think that's more or less personal preference, because my grandmother, the neighbor I grew up with, the lady across the street, the sweetest lady, sweet as pie. Her and my grandmother were best friends. And my grandfather was the same way. They were not racist whatsoever, but it was their preference. My grandfather.
All right, stay right there.
Girls. Okay.
Okay. Roogle, do you think it's preference or racism?
I think it can be both.
Explain it. I
have a cousin that's married to a woman, and her family totally denounced her because she married a black person.
You got a cousin that married a woman?
Well, I mean, I got a cousin. He married a white woman.
Okay.
And her family disown her. Period.
Okay.
Period. Like, I think they may talk now, but they've been married for 20 years. Okay. And it was purely because it was a black man.
And so they just, now that's love. That her whole family denounced her. That's love. And but do you find, and I'm glad you said that, that's a good point. But him being a black man and marrying a white woman, our culture seems to embrace everybody versus like other cultures might be like, no, not at all. And that's not just white people, because different nationalities believe you need to marry your own. Mm-hmm. But do you find that our culture is more accepting of everyone? Hello?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It is.
You think so? Okay.
It is.
Roogle?
I'd agree to that. I mean, because we judge people off their character more or less than off of the other things. Now, it's certain things where you might be like, because I often see this where like I've seen black women talk about a successful black man who might end up with a white woman and not be happy with it. You know what I mean? Because of like, the first thing you do, I remember when I graduated from college, I had an aunt and I had a son, and my aunt, she had never seen my son. This was a great aunt. She had never seen my son. And after that graduation, she didn't come to the graduation, but I seen her like soon after, and somebody brought it up. And she said, so you married to a white woman or something, right?
Because you were successful?
I guess. You know what I mean? But the point was like, like the answer was no, but it had nothing to do with any of that kind of stuff. But it was like, you ain't even asked me what I got my degree in. You know what I mean? You ain't even asked me what I'm looking for. You asked me that. That was the question that came from her mind. You know what I mean?
What did you graduate in? Oh, I apologize.
It's all right.
It's personal, right? Because
she never seen your son, so that's funny.
To my thought at that time, I could pretty much say that she had never seen him. But if she did see him, he was lighter complexion.
Right, she would probably. That's why I was thinking like she would probably.
That's probably why she asked you that.
But she never seen him.
Never seen him.
So that's that's something to be spoken to. Just because somebody is successful, you just assume that they're going to be with somebody white. Now, your boy Kanye, remember that song? She ain't messing with Gold Digger. Now he wrote that song and he went that way.
And he turned around and got with a gold digger.
But and here's the thing. And they said he get where he get, and then he leave your A for a white girl.
Mm-hmm.
I said, did he forget what he sang? I want to go hit replay.
Charlie Wilson.
But you know what? Charlie Wilson's story is different. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, we did talk about it.
Because ain't no sister, I don't know, it might be one out there, but I don't know a sister that's going to sit there and say, you know, just straight off the top, this is my job, I'm a counselor. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and date this recovering crack addict while he in his steps.
I know a couple of them that would. So,
but no, I don't think that they'll do what she did, because remember she put her job on the line and did it, and she rocked with him, so she saw his future, and she's like, okay, so in our family, now that's in our family where we'll be like, he could be a friend, but you really want to do that? You really gonna sit there and lose your job and invest in him? It's I think, you know,
and then later on them same relatives be like, cuz can I get I need this, you think he'll give me some let me borrow, let me have,
but that's what he got. She was rocking with him at the bottom and brought him back. Yeah. So kudos to her. I don't have a problem with her. I think that people, they can love who they want to love, but I do know that it is a preference. I believe it's a preference with you guys. I don't think it's racism. It's just like, okay, but we love who we love and we can't help it. And it's a sad thing that you have some white people that will denounce their own.
Just so is now like here's the other side of my family denounces.
Wait a minute, let me finish my thought. When just like what Roogle was saying, as far as, you know, that young lady, his cousin, marrying the white girl, and her whole family denounced her. That's what happened to me. Roogle, you know, my right down the street.
Mm-hmm.
My little white great grandma, my black great grandfather. She totally, the whole family denounced her. Boom, and there you go. And it's like interesting. So she had to go for love. But of course, we liked her to do. The great people came out, like me.
Right, then, like me.
Yeah, see, like this is it, and like you. Yeah. We're winners, people. We're winners. Exactly. Now, I want to ask this other question regarding the workplace. Here's the scenario: you're at work. Your job says you have to come to this meeting in order to get your check. So you go pick up your check, and then you have your in-service, right? So they're not giving you your check until after the in-service. And then a lady stands up in front and she says, she's talking about this whole in-service you're into it. She was like, listen, you are all here because nobody else wants you. Yes. This is a place that I was actually employed at. That's what she said. Here's the issue that I had. All those people still sat there. How do you feel about that comment coming from management to you?
How does she know nobody else wants you?
Okay.
That was the job that you decided to, because when a job is offered to you, you can either accept it or you can reject
it. Everybody had it, and that's what she said. Okay, so let's stay focused on that comment that she said. You are all here because nobody else wants you. Roogle, how does that make you feel? Well, what's your thoughts on that?
I was in a situation like that.
Were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're an executive director who happened to be African American, a male. He said that to myself and a group of women, and more or less when we were, this is what he said. The issue was about, they came and they were talking about certain, I was like new, right? and he was talking about, it was about certain like work protocols or something like that, right? And these women had dedicated years to this company. I mean, when I say years, I mean anywhere between like 15, 25 years, some more than that, right? And they were probably going to dedicate another whatever many years to that company. And so he says, he comes into the room, they have a meeting with him. He grants them a meeting, and he says, I hear that the such and such, he says the position name, and he says, I hear they are bitching, right? And I'm looking at this dude like, this is a whole group of women that's old enough to be your mother. You kind of just got your position. And the first thing you're going to say to these women, some of them, most of them women of color, is that they're bitching. Who bitches? Bitches bitch, right? So you know, so I'm like, this dude, I mean, and it's no wonder people get punished for stuff. And you sometimes you just gotta buy your time and then wait, because you know, because the whole thing these women had, these whole thoughts were how they could do their job better, right? Okay. How they can do their job. They weren't going talking about, well, you making us do too much. It's like, this is what we think will make it better. And he already came in there with that mindset, and he said that. And he made a comment, because at the time I was the only person that had graduated from school right there at that job. Newest person, only male, only graduated from school. So I was about like maybe 21, maybe. Mm-hmm. And so he brought up that whole thing about, well, you know, fast food and all this other stuff, you know, like all this ridiculous stuff. And the worst part about it was, it wasn't a for-profit business. You know what I mean? So it, like, the stuff that he was saying was just so terrible. It was so terrible. It was so terrible. And it was just like, it was like these women, and in my head, I was just like, well, I know I need to leave this place. You know what I mean?
That's what you say in your head? Okay.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it took me a little bit longer to leave than what it, you know, but the thing was that at the time I was like, hey, I'm taking these classes for a master's. They paying like five for 5 of the credits. You know, I'm like making my escape plan. I left a little bit too early. I should have got that degree and then left, but I ended up, you know, the story. But the point was that, like, all these women were capable of doing something else, but they were dedicated to this organization. And he did not recognize that.
How long was he there in management?
And he got punished. He got punished.
Look, Nick, like, how long was, okay.
But it took a while. You know, it took a while. Like, it took, like, revenge.
As long as he got his punishment, that's what counts.
Yeah, revenge is a dish best served cold. But it took a while. And he was the cause of his own.
I like that. What did you say? Revenge is a dish
best served cold.
Yeah.
I like that. That happened to me. That happened to me. That scenario that I was explaining to you, I was sitting out there and the woman said, you guys, she was like, y'all here because nobody else wants you. I know that was untrue. Now, if anybody knows me, am I impulsive? I can be. I don't need to hear anything else you say. So you know what I did, Roogle? I took my oversized purse.
All right.
Right as soon as she said, you guys are here because nobody else wants you. I sat there and I leaned down. I grabbed my little purse. You know that little meme with the lady leaving? Mm. That is so me. Listen, I ain't say a single word. I got my little purse, put it on my arm. I walked out. My boyfriend was like, Ross, where you going? She said, oh, Lord. That's all she said. I walked right out. I said, that is untrue. And I can show you better than I can tell you. See, a picture is worth 1,000 words. You ain't got to say a single word. I grabbed my little purse. I walked on out the meeting, went to the front desk. I said, I need my check. This is my last day. And left. I had the opportunity to tell I saw one of the ladies yesterday. And I was like, I used to work there. She's like, I know you look familiar. So we had our communication. And I said, you know, I'll tell you why I left. And when I told her, she said, what? I wish you would have said something. But I didn't. Now, I could have. It wasn't that important for me. But looking at everyone else's faces, I don't want to be the person. I was like, well, maybe they can't. You know what I mean? And if they feel that way, you know, I'm always about empowerment. And I could have said, excuse me, that's how y'all feel. But, you know, some people need to, you know, they need their check. And you know how I do it, Nick. I don't want to just ruffle no feathers. I need to do what's best for me. And I made a decision that was best for me. I always have a bird in hand. So I always work 2 jobs. But even in that case, I feel as though if you're disrespecting me and I'm doing you a service, I can't be here because I'm helping you. I'm the reason you have your job. Like he said, that supervisor, all of them up underneath that supervisor, I'm helping you because without me, you wouldn't have that job. And that's the way that I look at it. Even when I interview people or when I used to interview people, you know, we ask that question, do you have any questions for me? And some people just say, no, because they just want the job. It is important for the interviewee to know how the boss is. What's your management style? Do I even want to work for you? And for some unknown reason, interviewers, the management, forget the fact that you are here to help me. And they look down, some of them look down like, okay, you need this job. No. Just like you apply for this job, you can apply for another job. I want you to win. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if we work together. Are you dependable? Because that's half the battle. You gonna show up? As long as you show up, I'm like, okay, you're gonna show up for work. But when a good leader, let me put it this way, a good leader, if I'm interviewing you, Nick, honestly, my focus is how dedicated are you? Just like what Roogle said, those women, they were dedicated to the job. If you're dedicated to the job, I'm with you because I can teach you. But it is so important for the people that are wanting a job, even though you need a job, don't just take the first thing that comes. Make sure if that's going to be your direct manager, make sure you ask the questions and say, do I even want to work for this person? Because why would I sign up? Because you're going to sign a contract. Why would I sign a contract to be stressful? It's almost like a marriage. I hate to say it. It's like, if I see that it's a red flag, it's a parade to follow. I'm not going to sit there. One red flag is usually a parade to follow, okay? I'm not going to sign a contract to be miserable because if I feel intimidated, sometimes some managers or the people that's hiring you make you feel intimidated. If you feel intimidated, this is for my people out there. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going. If you feel intimidated at the interview, that's not the job for you because that means you're going to be stressed the entire time. So don't sign a contract for hypertension or high blood pressure because that's what's going to happen. And anytime that you pull up to your job and you feel stress and anxiety kicks in, it's time to go. You got it, Nick.
That's how I was. That's why I went. But see, I'm the queen to change the jobs. I'll change the job in a minute. If something ain't right, and I'm gone. But guess what? I always make sure the next job I get is at a better level, better pay level, and everything else. Y'all listen. Anybody know me that I'm not gonna quit a job unless I know I got one making more money or I'm about to get one making more money.
Okay.
I'm not gonna play that. I don't believe in being stressed on no job because guess what? When you have a stroke and you in a hospital or you dead, they are going to replace you the same day that you were not there. So therefore, you don't need to be stressed going to no job. And if it's going to be that stressful to you, then you don't need to be there. And I'm like you. I've had a couple of interviews where the person interviewing me was real snippy and nasty. And guess what? When they called me and asked me, you know, and offered the job to me, no, thank you, because I didn't like the way I was interviewed. And that's just how I am, and I'll keep looking. But I guarantee you, the next job I get is always better than the last job I had, money-wise, too. I'm not going backwards.
Now, I'll tell you this. When you say that, that's a key point. Some jobs, most jobs, as soon as they see that you're not going to make it, they will have your job posted that same day. I worked in a place, I was in management, and they went to post that job. That woman gave 30 years of her life, almost 30 years. I stopped them. I said, please respect her. Don't post. They had that job. They was getting ready to post that job. We got the call that she had, passed away. She had expired. Do not, I understand it's a business, but that woman put almost 30 years. Can we please at least respect her? Give it a day. Not the same day. That, to me, that is so disrespectful that she put her blood, sweat, and tears in your job, was dedicated for almost 30 years, and you're going to post her job the same day? Can we ingest the fact that she passed away and at least respect her enough to give her 24 hours? Because what happens is everybody in the entire corporation sees, why is her job posted? That's not okay. And I'm like, is it that serious that you need to do it right now? The vacancy, give her at least 24 hours. So what they end up doing is, once it got in the obituary, then they posted her job, which was more respectable to me. Because I'm like, y'all know her and she was always here and y'all really liked her. And I understand it's a business, but you don't have to post. Please, at least 24 hours, because as soon as you do it, but you are absolutely right. Here you go. You go to work sick, you're dedicated, you're trying to do what you need to do, but as soon as you got to go to the hospital, honey, they're going to replace you immediately.
They're going to replace you that quick. It's
family
not working.
First. Family first. That's my whole thing. Family first. And understand that it's a corporation, it's a business, and the business is there to make money. Some people get offended. I thought that was like rude. I was like, oh, please don't put that up. Let us get it, because everybody don't know. And who wants to find out like that? It's almost like when you find out somebody passed on Facebook, you open up Facebook and then there's a face. You're like, wait a minute, what?
Right. And then you have coworkers that are probably very close to her that are going to be grieving. And then when when they're doing that, posting their job, that's going to make it worse. Who want to work like that? No. That's just crazy.
Right, and you have anger as the grieving process. So now they're gonna be mad at the company.
Mm-hmm.
What's
like
your thoughts
on that? Everybody out.
Right. What's your thoughts?
I don't care about it written up for nothing.
Okay. What's your thoughts, Roogle, on the that process as far as job posting immediately after you dedicated the time?
Part of it is, okay, I've been in companies where, I'm trying to think, I had a coworker who died, right? And I remember when she died, I can't remember how quickly her job got posted, but I do know that it was always a thing where people who work closely with that person had the ability to go to that funeral. So for me, it wasn't so much the fact that when the job was posted, but what leeway did the company give to you all to go and represent her workplace at the time of death. And we've done that for people who lost people, the employees who lost a loved one and stuff like that too. I just think somebody in HR, I don't know. I don't know how big the HR department was. I don't know if it was somebody's like, well, that's my job. Let me go and do my job. You know what I mean? I got the one job to do, and that's the post job opening.
Yes, and
yeah. So I don't know. It's a lot of things that could come into play. I just think it's how the company handles it. For example, one of my principals who worked for the district, he succumbed to COVID. And they sent out an email to folks letting them know, and then they had an article or whatever they submitted to the paper about he was a good guy and all that stuff, which he really was. He was a good guy. So I don't know. I think sometimes it's how you handle it, what you do on the back end.
Okay. There was a guy, I can't remember exactly where he was from, but watching the news today, who had to go to work, and we're in this COVID world, They didn't have the proper PPE. He was fighting for that, protesting, like, they want us to go to work. He was in a factory, and they still had them working face to face, in close proximity to each other. He contracted COVID and died 10 days later. The reason he went to work is because he had to provide for his family. And he had young daughters. So now he can't provide for his family because he died due to, contracting COVID, and his mom is suing the company for, for them not having the proper PPE for what he was then, fighting for before, and they didn't have the shields. It wasn't ready. Let's just put it that way. And after he died, other people started getting tested. And I think they said it was like 75% of the employees in there had COVID. They tested positive. So in cases as such, that will cause, it's like, oh my gosh, I work on the line right next to him, and he was fighting for this, and then he died from COVID. So
the job out there where I was at, temporarily, because it was only temporary, but like I said, like I told you how they don't play. They sanitizer on the floor you walk through. You got to wear gloves when you working with food. We had the face
shield.
The face shields. You also had, like, if you want to wear a mask, you could, but they had the hair nets, and then they had to kind of pull over your head that came up over if you want to wear that, and the face shield. So they're not playing, because the FDA is in there all the time. Check, and if nothing is right, they'll pull that whole line, sanitize that whole place. So yeah, some places are on it, like they not playing it. Like every morning you had to go in there and get your temperature checked. If it was over 100, you going home and you can't come back until you get a test, period, point blank, or your job is done. So they're good about that, but some companies aren't, and they just don't care.
That's a good thing to know, dealing with food.
Mm-hmm.
That put me at risk. I'm like, okay, they're on it with food, because
they're on it.
I often ask the question, you be safe, and then, but how do you know the person that's preparing your food is not positive?
Listen,
and laugh. Look, and laughing over the line.
I mean, we do was cracking up there, but like I said, you're covered from head to toe. You got the glove because it was cold in there, so you got the cotton gloves, and then you had to put on the nitro gloves on top. But before you put your gloves in, and then we had the plastic the plastic arm sleeves, the plastic aprons. Every time you walked out of your area and you walked back in, you had to wash your hands before you put any of that stuff on. Mind you, you already had your head stuff with the nets and stuff on, because you had to double net. And then you had the face shield and everything. You can't go in them areas unless you got that shield on. They weren't playing that either. But anytime you walk in and out, you got to wash your hands. And when you put them gloves on, they got sanitizer there. You got to put sanitizer on your rubber gloves, and
so they ain't playing. Now let me say this. They sprayed your feet too when you came from outside.
There was a little tray when we walked in to the first room, a little tray with some kind of sanitizer crystals that you had to walk on top of and like scrub your feet on. Some people wore their boots.
I said, with your shoes on, people. Go ahead.
With your shoes on. Then you walk through, every time you walk through any room, even the packaging room, soon as you walk through the door, there was like, you like wondering why by the doors it's always wet. Well, then if you look at the bottom on each side of the door, every now and then, so it looked like soap, like spraying out by the door, sanitizer. So
okay, let me say this. You don't work there anymore, but that is good to know. The place that she worked, it is the place that she worked. That is good to know. They actually package the food for the elderly.
Yes.
So I wanted to put that out there. So if your elderly loved one is getting food, just know they handling business.
Exactly.
That I wanted to put that out there because a lot of people don't know, and then you think like even when you're doing the food, it's like I hope, just like I said, that's my concern. Like, how do I know the person that's preparing the food is okay? So I think that people need to know as far as like that. That's amazing. And I'm like, okay, they package your food for the elderly and it's going out. Just know that your loved one is being taken care of and the food is good and clean.
And if you tell your boss you don't feel good, you need to go home, you don't feel good, guess what? You ain't allowed to come back there for 14 days after your test come back. Period.
Okay, I will say, like at the nursing homes, your hot spots as far as for COVID-19, they require you to get a COVID test. It's like, it's around the clock. You got to get it. There was a time where we're being overworked as an essential worker. It's people that sit there and say, oh, I got symptoms, just so they could take a break and be off because they're exhausted. And then, so now what they started doing is, if you said that you got the symptom, you got to go get tested instead of just being at home. So now we're going to move on to the next hot topic. And Roogle, I want your opinion on this one. How do you feel about unemployment, not unemployment, but the additional 600 versus essential workers being out there and still struggling to make ends meet? How do you feel about that unemployment stopping? And you know what I'm talking about.
The unemployment stoppage, the stoppage of the $600.
The stoppage of the $600.
I think what it's doing is awakening America that a minimum wage is not a livable wage. And it's bringing insight to a different problem. They said at one point they had people who were refusing to go back to their jobs because they made more on unemployment, right? Well, let's look at those jobs that laid those people off. They didn't have those people see what they was paying those people. And a lot of times you'll see that people were severely underpaid. They're underpaid. There were jobs where people were underemployed. If you're making minimum wage in Ohio and it's $8.55 an hour, and then for your unemployment, if you just get unemployment, you work 40 hours a week or something like that, I think you're bringing home about $189 a week just for Ohio. So you tack on another $600 to that, people make, that's almost $800 to make it, a week. So the biggest takeaway for me for that is that the economics of this country doesn't work for people who are underemployed. We talk about tax breaks for the rich and all that kind of stuff for companies, and they get, zero, like Amazon pays zero taxes in 1 year. And so they say, well, we're going to pay everybody $15 an hour. But the guy who owns the place, Jeff Bezos, and by 2026, and potentially if this COVID thing goes, he will be the world's first trillionaire. You know what I mean? So is $15 really a good wage that he's paying these people? Really, let's think about that. He'll be the world's first trillionaire in about 5 years, and maybe quicker if this kind of stuff persists, right? So when we look at like all these tax breaks that's happening with these companies and that sort of thing, and then you got a state or you got the government that says, well, I think the government, the federal minimum wage, I think is like $7.25 or something like that. So when you have that particular aspect of our economy where we give these companies cuts, but we say there's going to be a trickle down effect, they're going to pay more. Now we got to make them pay more because you gave them the opportunity to do so. You gave them all the tax breaks, but you haven't pressed upon them to increase the minimum wage for their employers, right? For their employees. So raise the minimum wage. Even if the federal minimum wage was $10 an hour, that beats $8.55, and that's in Ohio. Pennsylvania's minimum wage is less than ours. I think it's like might be like $7.50.
It's pitiful all the way around because everything in the world is going up. The cost of living is going up. Houses that for rent going up. Houses that you're buying, some of them are going up, but the way the economy has been going, I've seen some houses that started at 150 and now they down to 120. But everything, the cost of everything is going up except for what you work for. Your wage isn't going up, which is not fair because you have more people that are poor. You got a lot of people not able to pay their taxes. It's just crazy. I mean, if you gonna make the cost of living go up, then that wage need to be up as well. It's not fair for a lot of people. So in a way, I kind of see why a lot of people refuse it. Because I had a friend said, I make it for unemployment than I do. So I really don't want to go back to work. And I'm thinking about not going back to work. But the thing is, you already know when you're getting unemployment, it's not forever. Mm-hmm. You have to prepare for that. It was not to be forever. Okay. Unemployment is not forever at all.
Okay, hold on, Nick. It's for a time, and there's some people that were making, both of you guys are saying they're making more, and you can take that little bit of time and then do something good with it. Because there's a lot of people that, like he said, that were making more money on unemployment and being safe than actually going out there and working. Now, here's my problem. You had people that were sitting at home being safe, and you had the essential workers who got the bad end of the stick, and they're making less than the person that's sitting at home because they're considered an essential worker. So you go out there, you put your life on the line. And I used to, I'm not even used to, even now, where you have people who was like, well, y'all signed up for that. No, I did not sign up to go out and deliberately die, okay? I signed up to take care of people who were sick, okay? I didn't go out there and be like, okay, well, this is what we gonna do. You go out there, you do what you do. But you have people, the essential workers got the bad end of the stick. Where was it? Some of them had hazardous pay, some didn't. I didn't think that that was okay when you could sit at home. There was a young lady in college. She worked at a restaurant. So her unemployment was $400 a week was her unemployment. So she was banking, college student. And she got the additional $600. So you're looking at, what is that, $4,000 a month?
Roughly.
College student. I appreciated that she paid off all of her debt. But she was at home doing her schoolwork. That was a blessing because she had time to do her schoolwork and still pay her bills. And she invested. Versus myself, who's going out there and not making $4,000 a month, can't get off work because you have people sick, working the overtime. What do we get? Let's go with your Walmart workers. They're out there, essential workers. They're making, like he said, minimum wage. They don't get the additional $600. And then here's the thing to get me, not everybody was the same, but the frustration that people are dealing with just being in the house, and you want to dump on me, and you want to yell at me. I really thought that after all of this, that people would be nicer to each other. Once the world had opened up, a lot of the merchants are even ruder than they were before. My thing, and I'm going to say this, I feel as though if you have, let's go with the nail techs, you know what I'm saying. I ain't going to say nothing else. So rude, and they think that you need them. They opened up the nail salons, the hair salons, the whole. People, please, please patronize people who give good customer service. The ones that are so rude and as if you need them, I'm like, you would have been closed down if it wasn't for me. Please, I can't express this enough. If people are treating you rude, they don't respect your dollars. Not. And I'm saying this, don't patronize people who don't respect you. If you don't respect me, guess what? I don't have to respect you. And the way that I'll do it is by not patronizing you. You will not get rich off of me. Like he said, Amazon will be the first, trillionaire in 5 years, you said?
Jeff Bezos, yeah, 2006.
Yeah, he's with Amazon. That's the Amazon guy, right?
Yes.
And I'm like, man, because we're doing this whole virtual thing. Now let's go with this. What do you think? What do you think about a virtual mall? Since people aren't going out and you can't try on anything anymore. What do you think? I'm surprised nobody did that virtual mall. Would you shop a virtual mall?
I'm trying to figure out what's the benefit of
a virtual mall.
Yeah.
The same benefit that going on Nike.com and all them other ones.com or going through Amazon.
It'll be like under an umbrella, you have a virtual mall and all those stores will be up underneath there.
Up underneath
they pay
your,
and they pay you. That's the idea. And they pay you to go to your mall. Like, we need to all get together and be like, hey, here's a virtual mall.
Yes. You
see, Nick sat there was like,
guess what, Shop Talk? We patent that idea. Don't know none of the listeners. Don't y'all try that before we do.
You can shop from those stores on that particular mall. What you think?
I mean, you going online to buy stuff anyway.
You'll be like, why
not?
Because you really can't try things on, and then you look at things even like before. Just think you don't know who tried those clothes on before. You know, Mary J. Rottencrotch probably tried them slacks on, and then here I come in here trying them on.
Yeah.
All I would say is that people buy bottled water, they bought pet rocks. Why not?
Exactly.
Listen, I remember the pet rocks. Why? Did you buy a pet rock, Roogle?
Nah, I don't even think I was alive for them damn pet rock. I might have threw a couple
somebody's pet rocks.
I see some orphan rocks outside. Picked up and threw some orphan rocks, some pet rocks.
Remember back in the day where you could do the mail-in order? They were almost like a little sea creature. They looked like a seahorse, but they was like more of a human face that they used to have.
What you talking about, the chia pets?
No, not the chia pets. No, they were supposed to be, you put them in a tank, and it was sort of like a seahorse, but it had more of a human face. Oh, I can't think of the name of what them things was.
Sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys, that's it.
How much
did anybody ever buy a sea monkey? I want to know if it really looked like what it did in the ad.
Let us know. Did y'all buy a sea monkey?
Nah, I think a lot of that stuff, I don't even think a lot of that stuff was like real stuff. Like you would get a comic book and they would have like the ad in there for like X-ray vision glasses and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
My grandmother was one of those people. Buying something. Look, before the ad seen on TV, she would be like, oh, that look good. She would buy, she thought she bought 6 computers. I don't know, for a little bit of nothing. That was like this big.
Ooh.
Little calculators, poor thing. That was the lady. That was the lady. People were making money off of whatever. And it was like, okay, let's try it and let's go from there.
I always wanted to see monkey, but my mom used to look at me like, fool, if you think I'm going to buy that, she used to be like, that is not real. I used to get mad at her like, Mommy, how you know it's saying it's real, Mama? Now that I think about it, I can kick myself in the butt if I'd ever bought one for real. Because now that you think of it, a sea monkey, ain't nobody ever seen no sea monkey on TV. Come on now.
That's what he said. They had him at the back of the, what you say, in the back of the
in the back of like magazines,
the comic book like, ads and like magazines and stuff. Yeah, that's right. I always want to buy me a sea monkey.
Do you think with the way the internet is changing, do you think magazines are going to make a comeback?
Why? Well, I don't know, because some people are old-fashioned and they don't get into the computers and stuff like that. So,
you know what? I think
like that.
I hear what Nikki is saying, but I don't even know if that's a viable argument anymore. Because like when I talk to people and they say, well, you know, I just never do it. I'm thinking like, well, the world technically ain't gonna slow down for you, because what's happening is that like those periodicals are losing money because people are like, I need a magazine subscription for when I go online, like how we lost our newspaper, you know. I mean, you know, when I talk to people, I tell them, well, I don't know how long you plan on being here, but you look like you're only about 60 years old, so if you want to be able to thrive in your 80s, you better learn how to press these buttons in your 60s. That's all I'm saying. You know,
I buy the newspaper when all you gotta do is go on Facebook.
You know, that's part of the issue too. You know, people go
right.
on Facebook talking about. I remember one time somebody told me, "Well, it was on Facebook," and I was like, "So it was on Facebook? What did that mean to me?" Like, I got to be friends with that person for it to mean something to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Just because you put something on Facebook don't mean that everybody in the world get it. You know what I'm saying? So,
just
like,
because you put something on Facebook don't mean it's true.
Yeah, and that's true too. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when it comes to like now, I'm trying to think like the last time I bought a stamp to make a payment.
Right.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe a couple years ago. Maybe a year ago. Maybe.
But let me tell you, you know what happened? What was that? I think Bank of America with the online, and everybody ended up with zero balance.
I don't know if it was them.
I think it was them. I'll be able to give you the information shortly. I think it was them.
My wife got an account with them, and I remember her saying
it was a glitch in the system.
And I think it was Bank of America.
It was this week. It was a glitch in the system, and they had the issue where the balances were zero. To me, you know, I'm in between because I got a problem. I'm about to go old school. Yeah, it was Bank of America. Online glitch causes $0 to display in several customers' accounts. So she was probably one that it didn't happen to. But yeah, those glitches in the system, you can't mess with my direct deposit with a glitch in the system because, see, I'm gonna need to be paid because people are expecting me to pay them. I can't afford a glitch in the system. Do we need to go back to like splitting it like, oh, back in the day, like our ancestors used to like cut a hole in the mattress, Uncle Pete on Soul Food? Like, what would be your solution to that?
Well, look what's going on with the stores right now. Have you gone to the store and seen this unique sign that says?
Wait a minute. I want to give the correct information to the listening audience. In Charlotte, North Carolina, Wednesday morning, this was a result of an online glitch. Some of our clients may currently see an inaccurate account balance in online or mobile banking. There is no impact to their accounts, and their information remains secure. I don't want to put half the story. Let me put all of it. Go ahead, Roogle.
Have you seen this unique phenomenon that is happening lately when you go into a store?
No, tell me about it.
They say that they don't have they
don't have change.
They don't have like coins. They don't have change or whatever.
Yeah, remember we talked about that? What was that? Like 3 weeks ago? What you use the exact change?
Either the exact change or your card.
Yeah. Or have some
app for the restaurant, they want you to do that.
So like when I look at that situation, I'm thinking like, well, we come into right now we're in a situation where like if you don't have a checking account or some kind of paper check or checking account or something like that, a debit card or what have you, you might be in a situation where you may not be able to purchase anything. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that that's there yet. Because I went to my bank, right? I went to one branch that's been closed during this whole pandemic, is downtown. And I put in my card, I couldn't get any money out. Like no money. Like I could do all this other stuff, like switch the account here and there, but all the things for withdrawal and all that stuff were just grayed out, right?
See? Go ahead.
So I went to another one, right? And when I went to the other one, same situation. And I'm sitting there thinking like, I can't get cash out the bank.
And it's your money.
I had the money. The machine was either didn't have the money or what have you, but I could not get money out there was no way for me to manipulate the machine to receive paper dollars.
Now, therefore, then you have to go to a store and hope they had enough money where you use your debit card to get some money. And then some of the stores do a surcharge if you're using your debit card to get money. I don't understand that.
Okay, wait. So you're telling me you tried to go to a bank?
My bank.
To your bank.
I'll tell you the name.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you want me to. It's PNC.
Okay. So in order to go to your bank, you couldn't pull money out. You couldn't pull your money out of your bank?
No, not at those ATMs.
That's not okay to me. And you know why it's not okay to me? Because that is my money. Again, what do you do? What would be the resolution? Because that's your money going. They want direct deposit set up to make it easier. Come on in. But no, so I'm gonna have to go back to paper check. Send me my check. Let me cash my check so that I can have access to my money when I want to. That's too much control for me.
Well, after you wait in line, I don't know if you tried to go through a drive-through bank in over this time period or whatever, but I'll tell you, once I went, I sat for like about an hour and a half.
Well, I'm a set. Give me my money.
So I mean, you know, that's what's going on. Now I just assumed that the first one, maybe they were out of money because of where they were located, you know, because I think the whole branch is closed because of what's going on. And then when I went to another ATM, I went to another self-standing ATM, you know what I mean? It wasn't on a building or anything like that. And it was out of dough. Now I didn't go to another one. I just kind of, I don't know. I think I was going to the store and I just got a little bit of an advance from there.
That's crazy to me that we are going through a shortage now, especially with so many people using their cards and things. When the Federal Reserve, do you know how much money the Federal Reserve destroys? Even though it's old money still, do you know how much money they destroy?
Millions.
On a daily basis? Exactly. My aunt used to work for the Federal Reserve when she lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They get rid of so much money, but then we're still in a shortage for money. I don't understand that. So if you know we're in a shortage for money, then either start printing more money or leave some of that old money alone for a while. Mm-hmm. But they have to recycle and destroy old money after so long. But if we're in a shortage, why? It's just crazy.
Okay, today's show, I have to do my little commercial time. Today's show, Shop Talk with Mel, is brought to you by Bella Crafty Creations. And those are with a Z, Bella Crafty Creations. That's who supplied me with my lovely tumbler. So shout out to you, Shonda Lewis, and thank you for purchasing commercial time. Isn't that nice? So
I like my cup, Shonda. I like my cup. I'm gonna have to get another one.
Yes, these lovely tumblers, small business, support small business. And again, I'll tell you, you must patronize people who respect you.
Exactly.
You just go for it. So again, Bella Crafty Creations. All righty.
I have a question.
Go ahead. What'd you say?
In the way the world is going now, what Black people are facing, you know, Black people always talk about you have to patronize Black business. I don't have no problem with that. My problem is Black folks, listen. We got a problem when you have somebody trying to patronize your business, and you gonna pick and choose who you gonna pick and choose your friends over somebody, or somebody gotta continuously text you and you putting them on ignore, or you got an attitude with them, or you know, you talk about, well, if you pay these white businesses X amount of dollars and then tell us our you know, our product is, I don't mind paying what you charging, but I want the customer service to go with what I'm paying for. And that's a lot of problem with a lot of these Black. I love my Black people, don't get me wrong. I'm like with you 100% if you doing a business, but some of y'all are not professional.
They're not what? For the listening audience? Professional.
You acting, excuse, let me just put it on.
Okay, wait. You breaking up, so you got to go a little slower because I know you really mean what you say. So let us hear you clearly.
Okay, hear me clearly. Black people with business that got an attitude, you get them. That's why you sitting there struggling and mad at people. You cannot, if you are going to be in business, you got to be in business. You got to be professional. You got to be polite, unless the customer, and even if from you and pay whatever you asking for. If you gonna inbox them or call them when you feel like it. I know sometimes you're busy. Shoot somebody a quick message. I'm busy right now. I got you. As soon as I take care of X, Y, and Z, I'll get back to you. Please don't think I'm ignoring you. You want to get smart. Ghetto.
I saw there was an article where, I don't know, no, it wasn't an article. I think probably a social media site. I saw where I don't know the color of the person or their nationality, but they had a business and it was a small business and they were trying to get business. So they gained business. I guess the business became overwhelming, that the response when they tried to purchase some of their, their items, business, I don't know you, it wasn't me, but the response was so rude that I would not patronize them. And they actually, I think, they like screenshot the comment. And the comment was like, good morning, hello, I'm still a person. They said that they didn't, you saw that? They didn't greet.
Our neighbor posted that, and guess what?
Blah, 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 blah. Well, if I come into the store, and we know proper etiquette, when you come into a room, you speak first. So normally, people speak, but even if they don't, they're coming to buy business. You're still coming to buy, and they're coming to patronize you. They're coming to buy a product that you offer. Don't take it personal. I don't have to speak if I don't want to. I just want whatever your product is, and here you go. Now, I will say, to piggyback on that, I do have a problem where you selling hoodies and your hoodie is like $80 and I can go to the mall and get the same hoodie for $30. Nothing personal. I'm not paying your rent for that month. You can't sit there and tell me this is the price today and then tomorrow the price is something else. She's not doing that. I'm going where I get the best bang for my buck.
Right. And that's another thing they don't realize. They want to charge all this extra money, but you're in a competition with everybody else.
It's not about, I have to finish my thought. It's not about patronizing your business. If you decide you want to open a fish shop, I'll support you. Yes, I'll support you, but I don't want to eat fish every day. So don't get mad and cuss me out and say, y'all said y'all was going to support me. I did support you one time. I wanted fish that day. I don't have to eat fish every single day to build your, to patronize, to build your brand, to pay your rent for your building every day. I don't want to eat fish and turn into a fish. You know what I'm saying? That day. So you cannot get upset when people don't, people could support you from afar. They could do, support is not just monetary. Word of mouth. Yep, there you go. Word of mouth saying, hey, you need to do this. Hey, like me, like the page. All you got to do is like the page. I ain't asking for a dime. Mm-hmm. Support that way. But don't get upset that people don't want to pay your house note that month. They got their own house note. Sorry.
Right.
Now you
and that's another thing. That's another thing. People get upset because you ain't constantly buying from them. Listen, I buy from you once or twice, but if you're giving good customer service, I'm going just like a business. Like when you get hired for, and your boss will tell you, our business comes from word of mouth. Like restaurants, if you give good service, this person gonna tell, even if they only tell 10 people about your good service, that 10 people, they get the same customer service, they're gonna tell 10 more. But if you give a bad service, honey, this person will go out and personally tell about 1,000 people that your service was bad. And then you ain't getting no service and you ain't getting no money.
Now here's the thing to that. People will tell everything that happened horrible to them, and that one, it runs faster. But it run the street real fast. The bad. The good will be like, oh, okay. Here's the thing though. And you have where they say, any notoriety is good notoriety. That's what they say. You know what I'm saying? If you know about the person, or I don't know what term they actually use, but once your name is out there, it's like, yeah, I'm being noticed, good or bad. That's a bad thing. But I'm going to tell you, other people like me, there's 2 sides to every story. Actually, it's 3 sides. But you have to, before you make a decision, hear all of it. Because people will tell, just like you said, the bad, you said they'll tell 1,000 people the bad. They'll tell about 10 the good. Here's the thing. When you're when you hear a bad thing, always ask the question why. Always,
right.
and if you know the person, now I got a few friends, Lord Jesus, that ain't nothing is ever right. And this person did this and that, and this person did this and that. And I'll ask, well, what did they do good? They don't want to tell you that part. And then you look, does the good outweigh the bad? That's what you ask. Does the good outweigh the bad? Because you went there. Why did you go there? Did they do that? Yeah, they gave me great customer service, great this and that. Well, what happened? Well, I brought my dog in and I had dog fur in my plate. And I'm going to say that because that is true. I had dog hair in my plate. So you were the cause of that bad thing to happen. But all you did is say that particular restaurant, they got dog hair in my plate and they didn't comp me. Well, who brought the dog? I did.
It's your fault.
Was it your dog? So how do you feel? They got this new thing now where pets, what are they called? Support pets can come into restaurants now. How do you feel about that?
People are using that as an excuse now. A service dog, I can understand. A support pet, man.
Well, service dog. Let's say service dog.
Well, they have categorized. They have support pets and service dogs, but service dogs I understand, like for blind or something like that, or like if you have a seizure, that's a service dog. But somebody for your emotional support, man, bye.
Okay, what's your thoughts on that, Roogle?
Well, I just kind of feel like they probably need to make a section for people who do that, because like myself, I don't personally own pets, so why would I pay to go eat with pets that aren't mine? You know what I mean? So my thoughts are just like, well, if I'm going in that area and I see that's what it is, I'm like, well, can I get another table? Because that's really not my thing, especially like if you have allergies and things like that and whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I just think like, that's just sort of like that. I think that it becomes my preference as a diner if I want to eat at that establishment.
Okay, I'll tell you exactly. That happened to me. I saw a pet, beautiful dog. I don't have dogs. Do I have allergies? I do. I went in Red Lobster. I was in Niles, Ohio, and I went in Red Lobster, and I seen this dog. The dog came about to my waist. I saw the dog, an elderly woman, and an elderly man, but they seemed to be in good shape, and they had this dog. Walked into the restaurant. I go into the restaurant, and mine was to go. I had a to-go order. I went in there. My order was done, and I did say, I did ask to speak to the manager. I said, if mine was not prepared, I said, I will not eat here. And it's because of that. Why? I don't eat with dogs anyway. If I had a dog, I probably wouldn't eat with the dog. Why do I have to come and dine with your dog? Just like what Roogle said. Now, what happens if that pet hair get into my plate and I'm there? Because they shed and dander all over the world, all up in the restaurant. I'm sneezing. Now I'm subjected to my allergies acting up. Do the company comp me? What's your thoughts, Nick?
They would have to comp you if you're not the one bringing the dog. But if you're the one that brought the dog, that's...
Well, we know that. We know that. But how much money do you think a company will lose?
If they start letting people bring emotional support dogs, service dog, I understand, but emotional support dog, and even with service dogs, you didn't see too many coming in restaurants.
Just get a to-go order, and you, your dog, and your husband, and y'all could be at the house eating your Red Lobster.
Yeah, leave your dogs at home. Listen, I go to restaurants to get away from mine because they beg when I'm at home, and they expect me to feed them the same thing I'm eating. At the one demands it. He barks until you give it to him. My husband gives in.
What about babies? little toddlers. Some might be afraid of dogs.
Exactly.
Now you got a crying child at the restaurant.
Yeah, that's just not.
You go too far. You go too far. That's all I say. You go too far. No, you go too far. You.
I know.
Yeah, you go too far.
Listen, you
they can't bring other humans into the restaurant.
Yeah, they can't. Well, how you gonna do that with the baby? The baby crying and all these people with all this noise because they afraid.
I mean, that's the thing though. Those people entitled to go. I mean, they're bringing a baby. Now you don't bring a baby to a movie.
No, she ain't saying that.
No, he said I bring a baby to a movie. No, what I'm saying is
bring your baby to the movie.
Listen to what I'm saying. Wait. I'm saying
the baby is afraid of the dog.
The baby is afraid of the dog that somebody brought in. That's
what I'm saying. Afraid of the dog.
Yes. So when you say a section, that might be a resolution to it. Section them off. Y'all go over there.
I mean, when I say that, I'm not. I mean, back in the day, remember you had a smoking section and you had a non-smoking section. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, like those. I mean, yeah, you can have different ways to be able to accommodate those dogs. Maybe they have like a, tartar dish or something for the dog. I don't know, whatever dog.
Oh, don't say that. I will never go out again because I got a problem. And no dog, I ain't eating off no plate. No dog ate off of. How do you know? Yes, I go too far. Now back to what you said about the don't bring a baby to the movie. Don't bring a baby to the movie because it'll affect you, huh?
Hey, I'm just saying, like you have an age limit for certain movies, right? So the movie PG-13, they say parental guidance for people that are 13 years old, and up or whatever. Then that baby may not be a good idea to bring into the movie theater, just because it's like, would you bring a baby to an opera house, or would you do that? No, because there's a performance happening. You know what I mean? And that you're saying that this child is not at the age to be able to conduct themselves in a way to let everyone else enjoy what's happening.
Even at the movie theater with a child's movie, the debate. Because listen, a couple years ago, I took my nieces and my nephew to go see was it How the Grinch Stole Christmas? Anyway, it was a cartoon.
It needs to be an age limit.
Listen, the baby she was flopping this way and that way. And Nikki, I want this. And Nikki, I want that. And Nikki, I'm bored. You not watching this anymore. And then she fell asleep, and it was like, even when you taking a child to see a little child's movie, it still need to be an age limit because them little ones is not gonna sit still long enough.
Well, the thing is, you got to know your kids, right? You got to know your kids. Like, for example, I had a nephew. I knew off top he was never going anywhere with me until he was at least 5 years old. Never, ever, ever going anywhere with me, right? And I took him to a movie, and I didn't realize what I was taking him to go. Like I took him to go see Watchmen. He was a little older. He might have been like 10 or something, which was inappropriate, right? I admit that I should not. Like, looking back at Watchmen, I should have never took him to go see Watchmen, right? But I did. But I took my son, and he went, and he was there, and so he's like, all right, well, let's go. We're going to see the movie, right? And I was like, oh man, I should have did that. You know what I mean? I mean, it wasn't. They was like, yeah, it's an R rating, man. This is like, I remember I went on a date, and when I went on a date, it was this guy. He took his daughter to see the South Park movie. I don't know if you ever seen the South Park movie or not, right?
The man Nick like
horrendous, horrendous, man, horrendous. It was like one scene that seemed like it was about a half an hour long, about like the devil and having sex with Saddam Hussein. It was just crazy, right? And like I was just like, I can't believe this guy, because first of all, it's South Park, right? So you already know what to expect. And then I would take him R rating.
All right, let me do this, and then you could go ahead. Hold on. Roogle, what's happening in the movie world?
Man, what's happening is everything's getting pushed back, way back. Like if it was cheerleader, Siskumba, they were like, push them back, fight them back, way back. Moving all the movie dates all the way back. Some of them may come out this year. Some of them may come out 2021. Some of them may have a release to VOD, video on demand. faster than what we believe they would have. What I understand, there was a deal worked out with Universal, and I think it was Universal and AMC, where their movies would be in theaters probably for about 17 days and then move into a VOD because of everything that's going on with the pandemic. So there's been a lot of things pushed back. For example, Tenet was supposed to come out. They wanted to stay hard to that July date. Now I think it's being, I don't even know when it's coming out. I think it's supposed to come out in August, maybe sometime, but then it may get pushed back again. But I do know Christopher Nolan, the producer, writer, and director of the movie, I believe, is really pressed on having that be released in theaters.
I thought they said September.
Yeah,
the last part I saw it said September.
Yeah, maybe September. I know Wonder Woman was supposed to come out in like August, June, or something like that. Then they moved it to August, and now it's supposed to come out in October. And I'm just talking about some of the bigger name movies. So like what was the one was
Coming to America.
Well, Come to America, I always thought I think it was supposed to come out in June, wasn't it? And then they moved
I don't know if it was supposed to be that soon or not.
I think it's pushed out to a November date. Black Widow has also been pushed out to about November or so. We don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen with that. Let's see here. I had a list of Candyman. The sequel for that was supposed to come out. I mean, the reboot or whatever they're calling it. It's been moved to October 16th. Not Wesley Snipes, but Chris Rock was doing his take on Saw called Spyro, and I know that's supposed to come out in May, and I don't know if they have set a new date for that or not. James Bond was the first movie that would originally change its date, and when it changed its April date, it went straight to November. So we're looking to expect that in November November of this year. They're doing a West Side Story. Is an adaptation of the musical. Okay, I didn't even know that was a thing happening, but I guess there's a new West Side Story that's coming out. I don't know if we needed that, but they're going to give it to us. And that's in December. And Dune was supposed to premiere sometime this summer. They're moving that to December 2020. If you're familiar with that movie from back in the day. The other thing that I met, Coming to America is December 18th. So it'll be a nice Christmas movie.
Yes. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. See if it live up to the first one.
Yeah. And Mulan, the interesting thing that's happening with Mulan is that Disney has decided to put it on their app, Disney Plus, but I think I think you have to like buy it on the app, and I think it's gonna be about, from what I heard, I think about $23, $24 to get the Mulan movie at your home.
Okay.
Hey, it looked pretty good. It looked pretty good, but I mean, like, because I ain't gonna lie to you, when I first seen that they was doing it, and I seen the preview, I was like, oh, I'll get a ticket to go see that. You know what I mean? Now it's kind of like, now I'm like, well, sometimes it sounds kind of funny because like now, since my wife's around, she goes to the movies with me, so I'm pretty much out $20 anyway, right, when I go, So to have it at the house and I don't know how they're doing it. Like if you get it for a day, if you only get one viewing of it, I don't know, but
I'll wait for it to go on the free movie app.
Well, that's a thing you can do. However, here on ShopTalk'n, however, a disclaimer at ShopTalk'n is that we do not promote piracy. Okay.
Sorry.
No. Thank you.
That was the views expressed by Nick and Nick alone.
Yes, we know. Yes, those are the views by Nick. See, Nick is
I'm just saying
for the people.
Don't get culture canceled up in this mug. They'd be like, off with your head, Nick. Off with your head.
You can't see paying $23, especially. Just like with them pay-per-view stuff and pay-per-view. I'm not paying that much money to go see no fight. To see, no.
What you gonna do? Wait for Facebook? You gonna wait for they so they can tell you who won on Facebook?
Yep. I ain't paying that much.
So what do you think about the Mike Tyson,
Mike Tyson and what's his name? Roy Jones?
Yeah.
That's gonna be a good one, but I still ain't paying for it.
I went to a Mike Tyson exposition.
At the Cavelli Center?
Yeah, I won tickets for salsa dancing. I'm pretty light.
Oh, you won and I paid, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I won my tickets. So anyway, when I went and he was fighting that dude, it was like, hey, that's Mike Tyson. That's Mike Tyson in the ring. That's Mike Tyson punching somebody. But it wasn't like a fight. You know what I mean? It wasn't like like they had on headgear, or the guy had on headgear, or whatever.
Sparring match.
You know, and the guy had like a detached retina. Huh?
That's gonna be a good
top dollar for.
That's gonna be a good fight. It really is, but I still can't see paying that much money. I'll wait until I'll be watching Facebook to see who gonna be on their TV, and I'm not doing that. Or I'll just wait to hear the outcome.
All right, go ahead, Roogle. This your segment. Go ahead.
Somebody might get killed up in that.
I don't know.
You tell me that's really good. Hey, because I don't know how much I don't know how much Mike Tyson weighed. Because I'm thinking when he was fighting, he was like about 220 or something like that, 220, 230. And Roy Jones Jr., when he went in the light heavyweight, he went up in weight to fight somebody? Was it somebody he got beat by? But he went up in weight to defend a belt or something. I can't. Was it Jermaine Taylor? Somebody, I can't remember who it was. But anyway, you know, I think at his heaviest, he might have been at like 190. You know what I mean? I mean, he ain't been boxing and stuff in a while, so I don't know how much he weigh now, but
he kind of on the thick side compared to Mike, because somebody put on Facebook.
I seen Mike Tyson doing some like stuff, like he was hitting the bag and moving around and all that kind of stuff, and he was looking lightning sharp. He was looking like he looked like
he ain't missed a beat.
Yeah,
his body is tight, 6-pack.
Yeah, like they said that he in really good shape right now. Like he looked a little bit sucked in, but I think that's his old man face.
Yeah,
but I think, like they said he looked like he looked like a monster. So I mean I don't know. I mean Roy Jones might go in there and get hit with one of them super heavyweight punches. I mean like a for real heavyweight punch. You know what I mean? I mean, like when he was just moving his feet and stuff, and Roy Jones is quick. They had timed him once. He threw 6 punches in like 2 seconds. So, I mean, it might have been less than that. Was it 2 seconds, 6 punches? It might have been 6 punches in 2 seconds. But whatever it was, quickness versus power and speed, and it'll be nice to see. And I think this is what Mike Tyson is trying to do, is have like older athletes compete. You know, not necessarily against younger athletes, but just compete. So he, like when I seen it one interview, he was like, well, you know, what if we got like Jerry Rice out there catching passes, you know, and stuff like that? Because I guess Jerry Rice is another one who's like in phenomenal shape and stuff like that. So.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Roy Jones Jr. or Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson.
Roy Jones Jr. or Mike Tyson, Nick?
Mike Tyson.
Guess who I'm going for?
Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones Jr. Mike Tyson's a nice person, met him several times, but I'm looking at the age, like
it's only 3-year age difference.
Is it? Well, what? Yeah. Probably because Mike been out there. So look, I've been talking about him on Shop Talk for so long.
Mike is 54. Whatchamacallit is 51.
Mike only 54?
Yeah.
Roy Jones is 51? I thought he was younger. You heard me?
I did too. All right, so we gonna see. So we already know Nick ain't buying it. Y'all probably gonna wait for me because you know I gotta know the action. I can't go off of hearsay. I have to see with my own eyes. So yes, I'll be watching. Let's go. Nick with the news. What's happening in the street, baby girl?
Well, our dear Governor DeWine tested positive this week for COVID-19.
But he okay.
And coincidentally, the same day the president was in Ohio doing whatever he was doing with his lying self. But anyway, my views, not Chop Dog views. But it's mighty funny because after he left, DeWine tested negative.
Go ahead,
Where
Roogle.
do that at? Just somebody.
Oh, okay. Let's simmer on that a little bit. Go ahead, Roogle.
Hey, I you know, mighty strange to me. You know what I mean? Then they just said that, well, the test was a false positive and all that other stuff or whatever. And you know, I mean, you know, I guess that's a good thing that he doesn't have. I mean, it is a good thing that he doesn't have corona.
Yeah,
you know?
I was feeling sad. I was like, not Uncle DeWine. You know, the DeWine show. I look forward to 2 o'clock to seeing Uncle DeWine.
I saw a meme yesterday, last night.
You saw me
It was
what?
a meme of DeWine, and it was cough, cough. Oh, I tested positive for COVID. Then it was me. Then the next picture was the president waving goodbye, bye Ohio. And this next meme was DeWine again talking about, oh, I'm sorry, I tested negative or something. It was something to that effect. I gotta find it and I'm gonna post it later on. That was funny to me.
Did you see the meme where they put Uncle DeWine in Chris Tucker's outfit, and then he said, I got mind control over Donald, right? And then he said, when he be here, I'll be positive. But when he leave, I'll be negative again.
Yeah.
The internet is wild, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad, you know, you don't want anybody to get this disease. It's horrible. It's just yeah, it just kind of seemed weird to me. I was like, because they turned around that quick and tested him again. Like no quarantine, like I guess, is that protocol? Like, I mean, like it seemed like a waste of another test to me. I mean, like, I don't know.
Which brings us to my next point. Yeah, the test that he took, to my understanding, was a rapid.
Okay.
I guess it was supplied by the president or whatever. It was like a rapid. And the other one, it takes time for them to get the results on it. A lot of people aren't, just like what President Trump said a while ago, and everybody was like, is he nuts? Where he said that if we didn't test so many people, we wouldn't have so many positives. Now that's accurate. The reason you wouldn't have so many positive cases because you would not know. Okay, so he's like, don't test them, and then let's just go on, and then what? Everybody died. The whole human race is just gone. You know what I mean?
That's what it seemed like.
America.
But what's your thoughts on people without symptoms being tested?
I think it depends on what they're doing. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Because the whole issue is the asymptomatic patients spreading it to other people who
the most.
Yeah. So I mean, like, if we're just talking about this randomly testing folks, I think maybe that's a good thing. But I think though too, the issue is am I testing somebody who's not at risk of spreading it to somebody else?
Okay, so for your company, you will require your entire company.
Well, let's put it like this. Okay, let's say I'm a person who, for some reason, I'm not interacting with anybody. I go to the store and I come home, right? And I don't. Let's say I don't work. Let's say I'm retired. Should that test be used on me or somebody who is more at risk to have it? If I'm not showing any symptoms.
I know somebody who that's local. She's not here, but close. That tested positive, and she actually went on Facebook and live and told everybody, and she let everybody know she did not have a fever, she didn't have any of the other symptoms, but she had stomach issues that she didn't have before. She said she already had bronchitis, so it was, she was having trouble breathing and everything else, and she ended up going to get a test because she went for her stomach issues. So she was like telling people this is real. She was cussing people out. Wear your mask. Don't be sitting here not wearing a mask. But that's infringing upon my rights and this and that. She was like, because I didn't go anywhere but to the store back home and to see my kids and back home. And now I can't even see my kids or my grandkids. And I've been around my grandkids. You know, she was like, so a lot of people aren't having those symptoms where you lose. She didn't, you know, say anything about she can't smell. She can't take none of that. It was a stomach issue. So it's like, what now it's like going to other symptoms.
Well, I have a friend.
Let me wait a minute, 1 second. They're learning that more and more with the symptoms. They're learning about this virus as we go along. So it actually, when they say that we're all in this together, so the more symptoms that comes out, then they'll, you know, they just add it to the list. There's some people that don't have taste or smell. Was one of the last ones where they couldn't taste or smell. That was one of the last ones that was added where people were having that. The dry cough was one, you know, at the beginning. So it was like, okay, you cough, whoa, hold on. And we remember back in the winter, it was a lot of people that had that dry cough. They was like, I can't get rid of this cough. So they don't know if that, you know, they were positive then. I remember I was in a room one time and they, I didn't eat the cookies. I'm real particular about, always been, and y'all know, as soon as you take the aluminum foil off of a dish, I got to be the first ones. If it's a potluck, if we're in a meeting or something like this, I don't want none. I have my hand sanitizer, me touching that ladle. That's why I don't like buffets, because I don't know what y'all did with your hands prior to, did you wash them, you know, when you touch the ladle? So all that's on me. The this meeting that I was actually in, somebody brought cookies and they passed these cookies all around. Well, a lot of the people that were in the meeting were really, really sick before it came out, you know, the whole COVID. I didn't touch the cookies because I was on the other side and everybody like, oh, cookie. I don't like cookies anyway like that. I'm not a big cookie eater. But all y'all got sick. And I was telling the one girl, she was like, my stomach hurt. I had a stomach problem. That's what made me remember that. And she was like, oh, I couldn't settle down. She's like, I don't know what's going on. So we talked. I laughed. She was like, you weren't even sick. I looked at her. I said, I didn't eat the cookies. So she's hurt. But that's what I went back to. I reflected back, like, what's the common denominator of all of these people? It was at those cookies. That's why I wonder, what if the person that make the cookies, the baker at the store, whatever, and not like where you worked at, you know.
They were store-bought cookies?
They were store-bought cookies.
Oh, okay. You got to mention that because I thought somebody just brought in some cookies.
No, they were store-bought cookies, but you don't know if they touched another cookie getting that out, you know?
Right.
You just don't know. Go ahead. What you got to say?
I hear you. You don't know about is whoever reached into the cookie jar. Who, me? Couldn't be.
Yeah, right.
Then who?
Yeah.
Right. It was you.
My question is, what do we do about the people that do? Listen, folks, if I'm in a store, you see, and I cough, don't be looking at me crazy because people cough all the doggone time and it don't mean they got COVID. People got allergies. People got bronchitis like me. I mean, even when I got a cold, I always cough for months and I had that cough and that's been forever. That don't mean I got COVID.
It don't mean you don't get it.
I cough all the time. People drink something, eat something, and go down the wrong pipe, and they got the cough. That don't mean they got the COVID and went down the wrong pipe.
Yeah, but at least they got a fork as evidence. They got a fork in the plate as evidence. We don't know if they got COVID.
Wait, I gotta share this story. It was recent. So I was at this event, and we, you know, social distancing, right? We inside the house. So my aunt is sitting on the other couch over here. And while she's sitting on the other couch over here, my cousin is over here with me. Roogle, I'll tell you who I'm talking about later. My aunt is a little older, right? So my cousin, who was older than me too, you know, is my mom's first cousin. She started coughing. And I know certain coughs because, you know, you be around, I just know what the cough is, right? Listen, when my cousin, Roogle, you know too, because it's your cousin.
All right.
We were at a graduation party. Now, you probably know who I'm talking about. It wasn't a graduation, it was like a graduation gathering. My aunt sitting over on a whole nother couch. When my cousin coughed, here's the face. You got to see it. And I'm sorry, listening audience, but you could about imagine. I want y'all to go to YouTube after this and you can see my facial expression because we're doing it virtually. My cousin said, that's the cough, right? She got a mask on, but that's the cough. And she kept coughing. When she coughed, my aunt was like this. She turned so fast. So at that moment, I looked at my cousin. I said, oh, you have asthma? When I said that, because the cough was, she couldn't get it. And the air conditioner was bugging. She was like, yes, it's terrible. So my aunt, this is how she said, oh, you got asthma. All right. It was so funny because, listen, she got a cane and everything. When she coughed, she was like, she about jumped up off the couch like, I'm getting ready to go. This party is over.
Yeah, I mean, people is taking that to the extreme. Just because the person coughed don't mean they got COVID. People been coughing for years.
It's so different, though. It's so different because now people are concerned. And when you are immunocompromised, you like, wait a minute, I ain't about to check out because you decided to come up in here and you know you was sick. And
people got smokers cough.
Yes, they do.
Come on now.
But now it's the cough. Now here's my thing. You have more people that's concerned about the cough, but they won't use protection when they have sex. So y'all tell me.
Won't use protection and won't put their mask on, some of them. But then when somebody else cough, you got the nerve to look. You ain't that worried. You walking around here without a mask on. Listen, I went to all these the other day, and everybody in there with a mask, except for a couple people. But this one little old black lady walking up the aisle, and I guess when she coming up the aisle, just prancing, no mask on, but she see all of us in the aisle with the mask on, and we all looking at her like she crazy. She gonna take her hand and cover her mouth. Baby, that ain't helping. You done touched everything in the store. Now you covering your mouth with your hand that you done touched everything in the store with. You didn't have no hand sanitizer or nothing. Are you crazy?
Now the open fruit that's there at the grocery store and all the people that are without the mask.
And we was in the fruit aisle.
Oh yeah, I'd be like, even though I wash all my fruit, always have.
Yeah, I did.
I always have. Even like
some water, then put it in the warm vinegar water, let it sit for a while.
But you know what? I have a cousin who would always, and I saw her even when I was little, she would actually wash everything, like the milk. She washed all that stuff off before she put it in her refrigerator. So I know she fine. Shout out to you, Evelyn Pierce, because she will put it she will not put it in the refrigerator without washing everything off. And I thought, I was younger, I was like, oh, so I know she good with the whole COVID situation. That's interesting that lady came into the store, and I thought that there was a mandate.
And big old sign on the door. And a couple people was in there without. That's what I don't understand. Like, people, this is a mandate now. You get a fine and get up to 90 days in jail. Wear your mask. It's not an infringement on your rights. It's something called humanity to help, prevent the spread of it. You're trying to help. Like, wear your mask. What is the problem with wearing a mask? Unless the doctor says you can't because you have health issues where that,
Listen,
I can understand that. But then,
I'm glad you said that.
Please do us a favor and do the curbside service. Call in, have your groceries by the person in the store, and have them meet you outside.
Okay, wait a minute, Nick. Okay, wait. That, when you say wear your mask and it's a mandate, because we got to speed up, I got to stay on task. A mandate is different from a law. Roogle, what's your thoughts on the mandate?
The mandate to wear a mask?
Yeah, the mandate to wear a mask versus
that we're mandating that you wear a mask.
Right. Now
like
there were two ladies that were out, and they came in the store. Now this is so different. They came into a store. A store is privately owned. This is my store. And then they refused to wear a mask. And I asked them to wear a mask. They want to argue with me on why. It's not a law, but this is my store and this is one of my requirements. If you were in that same situation, what would you do? I'm gonna ask you, Roogle, first.
If it was my store and I said, hey, there's a, we prefer our customers to wear this.
Yes.
I would say, well,
but listen to what you said. Prefer. That leaves it open, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, I said prefer just because, I like to razzle dazzle people with my vocabulary.
I heard that. Razzle us.
Razzle and dazzle. But I would just say like this: it takes a strong stance by a person who's a business owner to say, hey, I'm going to refuse your business because you are not equipped to come in here. For example, if I went into Burger King and I didn't wear a shirt, if I went into Burger King or McDonald's, I didn't wear shoes, what would they say to me?
No shirt, no shoes, no
service, right? Been that way forever. What happened?
They added no mask onto those because I went to
no what? No bastards.
Yeah, they added mask. Hold on, Nick. Wait, let me finish it. Let me finish him. She said now they added no mask. But go ahead. What'd you say?
They added no mask, no service. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like we've been adapting to these rules of public safety, public health for a while. Why do you think they tell you need to wear shoes in here? Because they don't want your crusty ass toe jam all over the place. Why you gotta wear shirts? Because nobody wants your armpit hair falling all over the place. Nobody want to see that. Nobody want to see your taco meat chest hairs. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to see that. So I mean, but the thing, but there is another issue about it. They're like, hey, this is not a safety, a health thing. So you got your old greasy bag rubbing up against the chairs because you decide to wear no shirt. You know what I mean? Come on now. So I mean, these rules have been in place for a while, and this one is even more significant probably than those, especially when you're thinking about just like this hygiene and the fact that it doesn't matter where you sit, it doesn't matter where you touch. It matters like what you actually cannot do. It's an involuntary thing. I can hold my breath, but my body's gonna be like, hey, once that oxygen in those cheeks is gone, you're gonna pass out or you're gonna open up your mouth, right?
Hey, Roogle, so what would you do as a business owner if two women came in and they want to argue with you as far as why they need to wear a mask? What would you do?
I would hopefully I would have some masks on hand, and I would go up to them and say, ladies, if you would please, and hand them 2 masks.
And if they refuse,
then I would say that we can't service you today. But if you want to, you can go on, you can call us and we can make an order for you. We can do whatever we need to do. But for the safety of everyone, I'm going to have to ask you to leave or use another means to make your purchase.
Okay. Nick, what would be your solution if you were a business owner and 2 women came in and they refused to wear a mask?
Even with me handing them one and giving them those options that Roogle said?
Yes.
Without being ghetto, my next solution would be to call the police to escort them out if they are refusing to leave. Because I'm not about to lose no business for your tail. This is my business. I'm asking you. This is for the public safety of health safety of others. If you still refuse and want to argue with me about mine, baby, you got to go. And without me being ignorant and fighting both of y'all, I'm just going to go the professional route and call the police.
Well, that's good because you can't fight your customers, sweetheart.
Right, exactly. So therefore, I have no other choice but to call the police. Listen, I've asked these women to wear a mask. They are refusing to come in here with a mask. I've asked them to wear a mask. I've offered to give them a mask. They are refusing that. They don't want to do the call-in service where we can pick up their items and bring it out to them. They got to go. Period, point blank. I don't care how many people you tell about my service, and make sure you tell everything because I refuse to wear a mask and I didn't want to do this. Make sure you let you know they're not. But yeah, that's the only other option you have as a business owner. Call the police. And even though they're saying, well, don't call the police. This isn't a 911 issue. You need to call the health department. No, it's a 911 issue. They're refusing to leave your establishment. They got to go.
Let me say this. They do, since you brought that up, they do call the health department to report people because the police tell you, they refer you to call the health department to enforce. The health department calls the police. So it's like it's a triangle. Yeah. Now, that happened locally. That's why I was very specific when I said 2 women. It was a local coffee shop where 2 women came in. And when they came in, they refused to wear their masks. And they said, well, he said, well, it's a mandate. You know, this is alleged. I kind of read, you know, when I say alleged, I read it off of another social site, and also like the news paper, you know, they wrote an article on it. This company owner, what they did is they didn't want to argue, and he said, well, I'm here, I have to protect my staff. You must wear a mask before you come in. And they said, well, it's a mandate, it's not a law, it's against my right, blah, 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 blah. He asked them to leave. Clearly they wouldn't leave. So what he did was close the entire store. He closed his business down for a few days. Well, guess what? It hurt his staff who he was trying to protect, because they didn't have any hours. Closed it down, and it would have hurt his business. He ended up reopening it back up. A lot of people, humanity is something. A lot of people heard about the story. They read it like I read it, and underneath the news, they were like, well, can we buy gift cards, you know, something to help to keep the business up? But my suggestion, I'm sorry, I'm going to call the police. I'm going to escort you out, because here's the thing. I can't touch you, because I know with that type of attitude, you're probably going to try to sue me. Get out. He closed the whole store. We're closed. Done. Bam. And it actually affected the staff. I wanted to know your solutions to the problem, because we're problem solvers here. Okay. How would you deal with that? And that's why I asked. He actually closed his store, where his store was actually hurting.
I ain't closing nothing. I'm calling the po-po.
Okay, so you heard Nick, that the voice of the people, she said she calling the police, the po-po. And Ruggle's suggestion was very nice, where he offered masks. So if they don't take it, just ask them to leave.
Yeah, because I mean, it's almost becoming it's almost turned into it's like people are looking at you crazy. And you got to remember, some people want attention for bad reasons. You know what I mean? You know.
Good attention, bad attention, it's all attention.
Yeah, as long as they're getting it. And so you know, I tell you like this, I didn't even think about saying, hey, we shut down, everybody get out. I didn't even think about that as an option. But you know, when you're in that situation, I mean, you do get the right to say, hey, we're gonna shut it down. You know? So I think, I mean, and that should be a sign for those people, because it's funny, because I wonder if those folks are ever going to be customers again.
Probably not, or they have to comply. But if it's my business, I have a problem with some alleged customer, coming in telling me how to run my business. That's like my house. You come to my house and you rearranging my furniture. Hold on a minute. That's not okay.
Well, if you don't get the furniture arranged, right?
Wait, Roogle, because I can't just cut you out, and I want to hear what you have to say. If I invite you into my house, I go to the bathroom, I come back, and you rearrange my furniture because that looks good for you. That's a problem. And that's what's happening. A lot of people are just coming in and imposing their own thoughts. You can't please everybody and their own suggestions on someone else. Just don't patronize them. If you don't like it, don't patronize them. To come in and just rearrange stuff and, oh, okay, well, I'll change the law for you and I'll change this for you. You cannot appease everybody. My thing is, if you don't like what we serving up in this mug, go eat somewhere else. If you don't like the rules that I have, I just lost 2 customers, but I gained 2,000. You know, you have to do things that are best for you. Write a complaint, call corporate. It's my own personal business. You can't come to Shop Talk and decide, you know what, I don't like the way the studio look. I'm getting ready to rearrange it and take the Shop Talk down because a lot of people just don't Shop Talk. Guess what? My target audience is my target audience. My community will find me. And this is for everybody. If you feel as though you don't fit in, just understand your community will find you. Do everybody like Shop Talk? I hope they do, but I don't know. They might not want to hear what we have to say. You know what I mean? You are interested in what you are interested in. And if you don't like it, you go to another place where you actually fit in. Your audience, your community will find you. Don't change and don't become what somebody else wants you to become, because that's them. It's okay to be you. Be you, do you, whatever it is that you want to do, make sure it's you. Don't allow other people to impose their views and their wants and desires on you. And in that case, that's what those two women were trying to do. So what you gonna say? Okay, well, I'll take the mask down because you two came in. Not, I'm keeping the mask up. This is what I stand for, morals and values. Because once you start tweaking it and doing what everybody else wants you to do, you are compromising your own morals and values. Why do that? Why do that? So Roogle, you think that the business owner made the right choice by closing down?
Yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, obviously it worked for him, but I think that one of the things he could have did was just say that it's only curbside service too.
And see, now that's a solution. What's the name of that one restaurant that they used to have the skates on and they would come outside?
I know they do it. Was it A&W? I think used to do.
Yeah.
Yes. And they just come out to the car, so you don't have those problems. Rallies won't have those problems because they ain't never let you let you in anyway. So
it's other reasons why you won't have that problem at rallies too.
So sitting outside, curbside service, because they have a patio, so they could just come out and take your order. They have their mask. If you choose not to wear your mask, even though it's a state mandate, outside, you're outside. I'm protected. Here you go. What do you want? I'll just bring it out to you, and we can solve this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Be like that gas station that I went to last week. No shoes, no shirt, no shoes, no mask, no service. Point blank.
And that's it. We just have to comply. It just seems like people just don't like rules. And what is it? Rules are made for the unlawful. So rules are made for those two people. Hey, gotta be honest.
I ain't closing nothing down and risking losing money. Like I said, I'm calling the police.
Any last words, Nick? Any last words of today?
Wear your mask or just
wait a minute. Let me be specific. Encouraging words.
Any encouraging words? Okay, let's see. Be yourself. Well, no, I don't know about that one because people being themselves is the reason why we're talking about what we were just talking about.
But hey, the slogan is it's okay to be you.
It is okay to be you.
So they could be themselves, but they could be themselves somewhere else.
Somewhere else, exactly. Be yourself somewhere else if you're not trying to comply. But no, everyone have considering what's going on, continue to be blessed, continue to be safe. There you go. Okay,
Roogle, any last words?
Do the right thing. Sometimes the right thing isn't the thing that may be comfortable for you, but it may be the best thing for everybody else.
I like that. Do the right thing. That's it. And I'm going to end on that. Do the right thing. Even though you aren't comfortable, consider other people. I've been saying it, look, from the beginning. If people don't respect you, don't patronize them. I'm going to say that. If you don't agree with certain things, you always have a choice. Thank God that we have choices, right?
Right.
But I like that. So there you go. Do the right thing. What you got, Roogle?
That would have been a great slogan for a bar that we used to have.
What?
What you just said about choices? I lost it. I forgot what you said.
Oh, we all have choices?
There's something you said. I don't know.
We do. And we could choose. Yeah. That was a fun bar. I'm like, what's that a fun bar?
Make the right choices, is what you said or something.
Yes, that's what it is. We do. We all have choices. We have to remember that. And if people don't sway, I have to say, don't sway. Be you. It's okay to be you. It is definitely okay to be you. And it's okay to disagree. Let us agree to disagree. We ain't doing that here. Out. That's it. All right, lovely people. That is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you as I do each and every single Saturday. Find you, embrace you. Most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people. Shop! Hey, we getting better.
Getting better, y'all.
We are getting better, and I love you guys for coming on. So again, co-host Roogle in the building. Always count on him. Nick, the voice, she gonna keep it real and what's happening on the street. So tune in every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. We makes it happen. Peace. Bye-bye.